Yeah, we'll just get started with some shaking. So when you're ready, you can just be on your mat and start shaking out the hands, the arms, the legs. There's no rules here. So just try to close the eyes and let your body just move how it wants to move. Wake up the limbs and get the stagnant energy flowing. Maybe jumping around even a little bit. Taking big breaths as you do so. And then whenever you're ready, we'll start doing some tapping. So you can bring your fingertips and start on the chest. I'm just tapping this area. And then letting that move wherever it wants to move. So you can come up to the face and to the head, or you can come down on the torso, but eventually just tapping throughout the whole body. So just moving intuitively, giving some love to the body. And then when you feel like you've tapped every part of you, started to wake up all the parts, then just find some stillness. You just let the arms dangle, let the blood settle, let the eyes close and the face relax. Tuning inward, noticing how that was for you, if there was anything stirred up. And then on your next exhale, just come forward into your forward fold, bowing to yourself, bowing to your practice, bending the knees quite generously, just allowing your head to dangle, the arms to dangle. Maybe letting out a big sigh. Lifting the sit bones a little bit higher. Shifting the weight a little bit more forward to the balls of the feet. Letting the belly relax, the jaw, forehead, and eyebrows. And then slowly on your next inhale, you can start to roll yourself up to stand. Reaching the arms out and up at the top. And exhaling the hands to heart center. Awesome. Pausing for a moment here. Noticing any sensations, observing any thoughts. And then interlace the hands and bring your palms to face up toward the sky, reaching up, getting nice and long in the side bodies, knitting the ribs back in, feeling that full length in the spine from your heels through the back body, all the way through the hands, bringing the biceps closer to the ears. And then inhale as you hug the shoulders up closer to the ears. And exhale, bend over to the right side. Feeling this really nice stretch down the left side of the body. Inhale, reach up to center. Exhale to the other side. Nice stretch down the right side of the body. Inhale to center. Let's do one more on each side. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale to center and exhale to the left. Inhale to center, reach up a little bit higher. And then exhale, bring your right arm forward and left arm back behind you. We're twisting the shoulders to your left, keeping the hips square to the front of your mat. So noticing if the hips want to come open too, and then bringing them back square to the front. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. So same thing here, noticing if the hips want to come open and just leaving them square to the front of your mat. Feeling the shoulders come square to the right. And inhale, both arms reach up. And exhale, cactus the arms and open up the heart. Shoulder blades, elbows coming closer together. Inhale, reach. And exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, open up the heart. Inhale, reach up. Let's do that one more time, all the way through. Twisting to the left. Inhaling to center. Exhale, twisting to the right. Inhaling to center. Exhale to open up the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Let it go. Next, inhale, halfway lift, long spine, active belly. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more full round, just like that. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, long spine, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way up. And this time, exhale all the way back down. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, walk your hands forward into your down dog. You can move slowly, paying attention to the shoulders, moving from the shoulders, feeling all the sensations. And then coming into your down dog, taking some time here, bending the knees as much as you need to this morning, lifting the hips as high as they can go. Maybe putting a generous bend in opposite knees and feeling that really nice stretch down the straight leg. Maybe stretching out the feet, bringing the heels up over the balls of the feet. And just consolidating all of your energy to your hips. Drawing the energy up through the palms, up through the soles of the feet. Feeling the broadness in your shoulder blades and the openness of the heart. The low belly pulls into the lower back, feeling the extra length in the low back. One more breath here. And then inhale, roll your body forward into a plank position. Always an option to bring the knees down here. You're still working the core. And then slowly start to lower yourself down to your belly, bending the elbows really close to the ribs, keeping the belly active. And resting on the belly, pointing the toes, rooting the big toes into the mat. And inhale, lift your heart up, baby cobra. Exhale, release. And push yourself back up either through a plank or a tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look up to the top of your mat and start to walk your feet to meet your hands. Landing in a half lift as you inhale. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll move through two more sun salutations just like that. Just starting to wake up the body. As you inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, let it go. Plant the hands, step back to a plank. And you can do exactly what we did before, lower to the ground and take your baby cobra. You can, if you have chaturanga and up dog in your practice, you can do that, lowering halfway. Or if it feels better for you to just be in tabletop and take a cat-cow, you can do that as well. So knowing you have basically unlimited options for what your flow is. When I say to move through your flow or your vinyasa, just know that that's your cue to take any little movements to get some stagnant energy out of the body. Maybe a back bend, or maybe you just skip the flows altogether. This is your practice, so listen to your body. At any point you need a rest or a break in a certain pose, feel free to take it. Your next inhale, bend the knees, look up and step up. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. And exhale, let's fold all the way back down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, release. Plant the hands, step back to a plank. Move through your version of a vinyasa flow, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Just letting out some big exhales, maybe sighing it out. Noticing anything you might have brought with you to your mat today that you can now leave behind. Bend the knees, look forward, and step up to a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reaching up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking this moment with yourself, checking back in. Maybe reminding yourself of any intentions for your practice. Maybe just feeling the heartbeat, feeling the breath, feeling the sweat. On your next inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and forward fold. Inhale, long spine, half lift. Exhale, let it go. Plant the hands and step back right to your down dog this time. And then slowly bend the knees and see how slowly you can bring yourself into tabletop. So slowly shifting the shoulders over the wrists, maybe letting the knees hover for a moment, and then letting the knees drop down into tabletop, and taking a few cat-cows. We're going to wake up the spine, inhaling to lower the belly and lift the gaze, exhaling to release. And just moving however feels right for you here. And then when you're feeling a bit looser, you can come back to your neutral tabletop. And we're going to take a few rounds of lion's breath. So meeting in your tabletop, inhale into your cat pose this time. So feel the backs of your ribs fill up. So inhaling to cat. And then as you exhale, come into your cow pose, stick out your tongue and look up. And then inhaling back into cat. Exhaling to cow and lion's breath. Exhaling through the mouth, stretching out the face. So do this a few times with your own breath at your own pace. And taking one more round of your lion's breath, just really letting it all go. And then meeting back at center in your tabletop. You can take a few side body stretches now, just looking back toward either hip, waking up the sides of the body, maybe adding some neck into the movement as well, getting any kinks out of there. And then coming back into your neutral tabletop. And if it feels better for you, you can be on your fists here so that you have straight wrists. That can feel a lot better. Or if there's another version of the poses we're about to do that feel better, then you can take those. So start to extend your right leg back, reaching through the heel, letting the toes be on the mat, stretching out that calf. You can rock a few times here just to wake up that leg. And then walk your left fingertips forward. So feeling that length from the left fingertips through the right foot, so the opposite leg and opposite arm. And then start to lift those off of the mat if that's available for you. Really keeping the core super tight. And if you feel wobbly, just feel the wobbles happen. If you're super wobbly, you can always bring down the arm if that's better. But really stay keeping the ribs knitted in, keeping the belly tight, and rooting down in the top of your back foot or the back toes if it's tucked under. And then as you exhale, bring your opposite elbow to opposite knee, crunching it. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, crunch. Cat spine when you crunch. Inhale, reach long. And exhale, crunch. Now inhale, reach long. Feel if you can get a little bit longer. And then exhale to release your arm to the side and bring your right leg out in line with the hip. Coming out to the side of your mat, yeah. And then just start to sink your hips back, stretching into the inside of this leg. You can bring it forward and back a few times. Maybe just exploring the different sensations, and you shift the hips around. And then bringing your hips back in line with the knees. Start to walk your right foot outside of your right hand. So coming up to the right edge of your mat. We're not coming into a full expression of lizard pose. We're just going to do some hip circles here. So just take some big circles with your hips, going one direction a few times, and then going the other direction. Just feeling that ball and socket joint in the hips. And then stopping those rotations when you feel even. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up, and come into warrior one. Rising the arms up. Feeling the hips square to the front, tailbone tucking down, back your spine is long, crown of the head reaching up. Awesome. Feeling the inner thighs drawing in toward each other as the feet drag away from each other. Feeling the four corners of both feet firm on the mat, even the outside edge of your back foot. Beautiful. One more breath here. Inhale, get a little bit longer. And then exhale, open up to warrior two. So your hips and shoulders come square to your left. Front leg stays just about the same. But feeling the hip now tucking under. Awesome. Tailbone is still reaching down, crown of the head still reaching up. Gaze can be soft over the front fingertips, or the eyes can always be closed. And if the eyes are closed, see if you can see your exact posture, the exact position your body's in with your eyes closed. See if you can feel your front knee over the front ankle. You can lift the toes, feel the four corners of your feet on the mat. Feeling the power of this pose. Awesome. Then on your next exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the inside of your right leg. Lift your back heel and let the knee drop down. And then step your right knee back into tabletop. Awesome. And take a few cat-cows, let it go. Maybe rock the hips side to side. Any little movements that feel good to take them here. And then when you're ready, we'll do that all on the other side. So no rush at all. Coming back into your neutral tabletop as you're ready. And then extending your left leg back, the toes staying on the ground just to start. Maybe rocking a few times, waking up the left calf. And then walking the right fingertips forward, feeling that length starting, feeling how the left hand and the right knee take on a little bit more pressure. And then distributing the weight throughout the right shin. So pressing down in the top of the right foot. And then lifting the left leg and the right arm off of the mat. Keeping the belly really tight here. See if you can really exaggerate pulling the navel into the spine. Awesome. And then exhale, crunch in, right elbow to left knee, cat spine. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch, really curling the spine back. Inhale, reach. One more. Exhale, crunch it in. Inhale, reach. And then exhale, slowly lower your right hand to the ground and bring your left foot out in line with the hips. So the toes are facing toward the front of your mat. And same thing on this side. Start to shift your hips back and forward, maybe side to side, just exploring how this feels in your left leg. Noticing where you're feeling this the most. And then coming back up so that your hips are in line with the knees. And then just start to heel toe or walk your left foot to outside of your left hand. Coming into this lizard-like pose. Not coming into the full expression right now. Just going to take a few hip circles again. So just see if you can maybe close the eyes while you're doing this and see these big circles that you're creating with your hips. Letting the energy move from your tailbone, going in both directions, feeling that ball and socket joint. Noticing if this side feels a lot different, moving as quickly or as slowly as you want to. Then coming back into center with the hips. You can tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee up, and bring your legs into warrior one legs. Rise your arms up, warrior one. Awesome. Feeling all the components of this pose on this side, reminding yourself of the feet, feeling the feet really sturdy, four corners flat on the mat. The hips having the scissoring action, inner thighs drawing in toward each other. Tailbone reaching closer to the mat as the crown of the head reaches higher toward the ceiling. Feeling the bottom of the ribs separating from the hips a little bit more, feeling that nice length you're getting in the side bodies. Beautiful. Reaching for another breath. Inhale here. And then exhale, open yourself up to warrior two. So adjusting your feet as you need to. Feeling the hips and shoulders come now square to your right. Gaze can be soft or the eyes closed over the front fingertips. Feel the arms reaching from your heart center. Feel the shoulder blades drawing closer together as the fingertips reach further away. And let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Let the face relax. Release the jaw, release the forehead. Let the breath be steady. Feel the strength and power in your legs. See if you can see the outline of your body even when your eyes are closed. See if you can pay attention to every muscle that is working in your feet, in your legs, in your arms, in your torso, throughout the entire body. Another breath, inhaling here. And then exhale to cartwheel your hands down to the inside of your left foot. You can lift your back heel, let the back knee drop down, and step your left knee to meet your right in tabletop. Take a few cat-cows, take a few circles, maybe even come into child's pose for a breath or two. Anything you got to do to just reset. And then meeting back up in tabletop when you're ready. Extend your right leg back behind you. And this time bring your heel to the ground and stack your right hip on top of your left. So the arch of your right foot is in line with the left knee. And you can, if you have trouble with balance, you can bring your left foot into more of a kickstand, bringing it out behind you. And then reach your right arm up to the sky, coming into the supported side plank. Feel the belly working here. And then take a few circles with your arm. So you can slice the air, take some movements with the shoulder, and exaggerating this as much as feels good. You really want to let this movement come into your heart as well, opening your heart up as you come up, and then switching directions. You're ready. Maybe exaggerating the heart to face more toward the floor. Letting this movement be expressive for yourself. And then now come back to center and just let your right arm reach alongside your right ear. And really just exaggerate the space between the outside edge of your right foot and your right fingertips. Awesome. And then slowly start to bring your heart to face the floor, bring your right hand back to the ground, and come back to your tabletop. You can turn onto the back of your hand if your wrist needs a little break here before we do that on the other side. When you're ready, you can extend your left leg back behind you and then pivot that foot to be on the floor. So the sole of your left foot is in line with the right knee. Maybe turning your right toes toward the right side of your mat for a little extra balance. And then coming into this side plank or supported side plank. And slicing the air a few times. Really letting this movement originate from the shoulder, from the heart center. Always permission to close the eyes. And let yourself move with your breath. It's not super important whether the movement is linked with an inhale or exhale. Just let whatever happens naturally happen. Just paying attention to what the breath wants to do. Paying attention to what the arm wants to do. Maybe switching directions, or maybe taking a different movement altogether if your body's calling for that. Let this be your time to just sort of play around. Let your body play how it wants to play, move how it wants to move. And then when you feel ready, just taking that really long side body stretch. So reaching the left arm up alongside the left ear, just noticing that space you're creating from the outside edge of your left foot through the side body all the way through the fingertips. Notice how long you're getting. Awesome. And then slowly starting to circle your arm back to meet the floor, coming back into tabletop. Maybe turning onto the backs of both hands and shifting the hips back a bit just to stretch out the wrists, if that feels okay. And then when you're ready, we'll focus more on the shoulders. So we'll come into a puppy pose. You can just walk the hands forward, melt the heart down, shifting the hips more over the knees. Breathing into the back of the heart. Surrendering in the front of the heart. Feeling the shoulder blades actively draw together. And then from here, start to tuck your navel into the spine and snake your body forward into a Sphinx pose. So bringing your hips to the floor, landing with the shoulders more on top of the elbows. Feeling as if you could drag your heart through the arms. Feeling as if you could drag the floor toward your toes. Zipping up the legs together, rooting the tops of the feet into the mat. Feeling the shoulder blades drawing down your back. Letting the heart be really proud here. Feeling how active this pose is. Pushing the pubic bone into the mat. Releasing the glutes. Awesome. And then from here, we'll come right back into a puppy pose. So see if you can imagine that there's a string at your tailbone, lifting your sit bones back and up. Coming right back into puppy pose. Awesome. And then draw the navel up toward the spine, walk your hands back under the shoulders into your tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Maybe fluttering the lips, maybe letting out a big sigh. Letting it all go here. And then bend the knees, look up and step up, halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pausing for a moment with yourself. Checking back in. I'm going to do some balancing on either side before we start to cool down. As you're ready, just standing in your mountain pose, feeling really sturdy on both feet. And then beginning to shift more weight into the left side of your body and start to hug your right knee in toward the chest. And if that's not available for you today, any amount that you lift your right foot off the ground will help your balance. So just coming to your personal edge, but letting your goal be to hug it into your chest more, keeping the heart proud. And then grabbing hold of the right knee, start to open up your knee toward the right side of your mat. Reach your left fingertips out to the side. In this pose. Perfect. And you can keep your right foot pretty flexed, as if you could stand on the floor with your right foot. Keep your belly knitted in. Beautiful. Feeling all the little parts of your left foot working. And then slowly start to guide your knee back to center in line with the hips. And then we'll come into a warrior three. So you can bring your hands to your hips or hands to heart center, whatever feels best. And just start to slowly kick your foot back as if you were to stand on the back wall. Letting yourself hinge naturally at the hips. Awesome. Letting yourself wobble, letting yourself fall. And then from here, we're coming right into a standing split. So you can bring your hands to the floor, and any amount that your right foot comes off of the mat is helping you. So let the goal of this be to keep your hips square. So your hands can be on the floor or on blocks for that extra help and height. And eventually you can even grab your left ankle. Yeah, perfect. So any amount that you lift your right leg is going to help you out here, but just notice if your hips start to open to the right and keep them square. Keep your toes pointing toward the floor. Keep reaching through your heel or the ball of the foot. See if you can kick a little bit higher. Awesome. And then slowly lower your right leg to meet your left. And exhale to a forward fold. Pausing for a moment. And then when you're ready, you can rise all the way up to stand. And exhale the hands to heart center. You will do that on the other side when you're ready. You can shake out your standing leg. And then as you feel ready, you can shift more weight into the right side of your body. And then start to hug your left knee in toward the chest. And again, even if your leg is coming to here, that's still going to help you out. So whatever your personal edge is, going there, finding your breath there. And then slowly you can grab the knee and start to open up your hip to the left as you reach your arm out to the right. That just helps with balance. Just having the opposite limbs reaching the opposite sides. Beautiful. Finding a focal point, staying with your breath, feeling how strong you are. Really feeling the energy reaching up through the crown of the head. Awesome. And slowly, with control, start to bring your foot back to the front, or your knee back to the front of your mat. And then start to come into your warrior three on this side. So you can move like you're moving through water. Just let yourself move slower than you might want to move. And that'll really just help you to get to all these little muscles within the body. So kicking the foot back as if you were to stand on the back wall, feeling this really straight line you're making from your heel through the crown of the head. Letting the hips be square to the floor. Letting yourself wobble. And then coming into your standing split when you're ready. So the hands can come to the blocks or to the floor. And any amount that you're lifting your left leg, even if it's just right here, that is still helping you. So just lifting your left leg as much as you can before your hips start to open up. So if you feel like your leg can lift really high, just notice what the hips are doing and square them back to the floor. And do what you can to keep your left leg straight as well. Yeah. Feeling a really nice stretch down the right hamstring. Keeping your breath at the front of your mind. And then slowly bringing your left foot to meet your right. Exhaling to a forward fold. Letting it go. We'll stay here for a few breaths, so just let the belly rest on the thighs. Let the head dangle, the arms dangle. Feel the sweat. Let all the muscles relax. Release the jaw, release the forehead. Find a little stillness here. And slowly, as you inhale, bring yourself up to stand. Reaching the arms out and up. Hands coming to heart center. Allow the blood to settle. Feel all the sensations. Maybe the vision leaves you for a moment and letting it come back. And then when you're ready, you can step your feet as wide as your mat, with the toes facing out to the side, and we'll come into a yogi squat or malasana squat. With your hands to heart center, you can hinge at your hips as you bend at the knees, bringing your elbows to the insides of the knees. And then from here, sink your hips down as you lift your heart and head up. Beautiful. You can always bring a block or something underneath the hips if you need a little extra support. Just feeling the hands pushing into each other and letting that action push your elbows more into the knees, opening up the hips even more. Let your heart lift toward the thumbs and let your thumbs push back toward the heart. So bringing the wrists even with the elbows. Yeah. Another breath here. And then reach your fingertips forward as you slowly sit your hips on the floor, removing that block. The block was there. And then reach your feet right up. We'll come right into a boat pose just for a moment. So your shins can be parallel to the mat if that's better. You can even grab the backs of your knees if you're still feeling this in your core. And if you want to come to a fuller expression, you can straighten out the legs and reach the arms back behind you or reach them forward. Just a few more breaths here. Really feel the core, feel how strong you are. And then grab your shins, bring the soles of your feet together and come right into your butterfly pose. Awesome. So you can adjust your sit bones, maybe get the flesh of the sit bones back so you can feel yourself hinging a bit more. Or if you don't feel yourself hinging at all, you can sit up on a bolster or on a pillow or blanket. Just let yourself surrender here. You can let the elbows rest inside of the knees. Maybe you open the soles of the feet like a book, or just bring the soles of the feet to touch. See how much you can relax your neck. See how much you can let your head just dangle. Our neck does so much work to hold up our head every moment of every day. So see if you can just give your neck a break, releasing the need to hold up the head. Let your belly be soft. Let your hips surrender and open a little bit more each time you exhale. And then slowly, as you feel ready, you can start to walk your hands back toward the hips. Bring your hands back behind you and bring the knees up to center. Step your feet as wide as your mat, and then bring both your knees to windshield wiper. You can move a few times here. And then the next time that both of your knees are falling off to the right side of your mat, you can leave them there. And then bring your left arm up around and circle it around so it's coming to the back of your mat. Awesome, coming into a deer pose. So your hips are square to the right, and your shoulders are coming behind you, squaring off to the floor. Yeah. So you're resting more on your right hip. You're on your forearms, reaching toward the floor. So it's this nice version of a twist. Release the glutes, release the belly. And then you can come back onto the hands. Walk your hands back the way you came, to the left. Bring your knees back up to center. And we'll just do that on the other side. So you can let both your knees fall to the left. So the sole of your right foot should be, or of your left foot, sorry, should be on top of your right thigh. And then you bring your right arm around in front of you. And then walking both of your hands, so your fingertips are facing the back of your mat, coming onto the forearms. Awesome. So you're feeling how your hips are squared to the left, your right hip's more on top of your left, and then your shoulders are squared to the floor. Feeling that really nice twist in the torso. Feeling this internal rotation in your right hip. And a few more breaths here. And then coming back onto the hands, if you're on the forearms, walk the hands back the way you came. And bring the knees back up to center. And maybe take a few more windshield wipers just to release the lower back, massage the glutes. And then reach the legs long in front of you, point the toes. Step your fingertips so they face toward your seat, and just open your heart up toward the toes. You'll see your elbows coming closer together, your shoulder blades coming closer together. Maybe you throw the head back if that feels okay on the neck. Countering the spine for a moment. And then as you exhale, you can hug your knees in toward the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Maybe resting the eye sockets on the kneecaps, if that's available. Maybe massaging the forehead against the knees. And then slowly, as you feel ready, you can start to lower yourself down to lay on your back. Hugging the knees in towards your chest as you arrive. And rock a few times side to side, massaging the lower back. Letting the back body rest on the mat. And then you can bring the soles of your feet to the ground, bring them a little bit closer to your seat. So your fingertips should graze the backs of your heels. And when you're ready, start to push your hands and your arms into the mat as you lift your hips toward the ceiling, coming into a bridge pose. And just noticing what muscles are working here. So maybe the glutes are really firm. And if so, see if you can just relax the glutes and experiment with what other muscles have to activate when the glutes are relaxed. With the glutes being such a powerful muscle in our body, a lot of times when they're active, nothing else has to work. So you can play around with activating the glutes and feeling that sensation, and then releasing them and noticing what other muscles do the work. A few more breaths. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, you can lower your seat back to the mat. And separate the feet as wide as your mat and let the knees just fall in toward each other. Pause for a moment before we do a second round of bridge pose. And when you're ready, you can set the feet so the heels are closer to the glutes. Fingertips can graze the backs of the heels. And then we'll come into another round of your bridge pose when you're ready. So inhaling to lift the hips up. Maybe this time you walk the shoulder blades underneath the spine and interlace the hands underneath the glutes. Rooting the outsides of your arms and hands into the mat, lifting yourself a little bit higher. And then pushing the back of your head into the mat, seeing how that makes more space to breathe in the throat center. Feeling the throat staying open, not letting the chin come too close to the chest. Feel your inner thighs magnetically being drawn toward each other, but not touching, as if you were squeezing a block between the thighs. Beautiful. Another breath here, lifting a little bit higher. And then slowly bringing your spine back down to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. And hug the knees toward the chest or windshield wiper the legs, whatever you got to do to loosen up after that pose. And then you can bring the soles of your feet back to the mat if they're not there. And we'll just shift both hips off to the right side of your mat as you let the knees fall to the left, coming into a reclined supine twist. You can extend your top leg if that feels better. You can turn your gaze to look over the right fingertips, twisting up the neck as well. Just letting yourself be soft in this pose. So relaxing your left shoulder, relaxing your left arm, relaxing your belly, the face, the jaw, the neck. Just seeing how deeply you can surrender. And gently, as you're ready, guiding your head back to center, guiding the knees back to center, and the hips. Resetting the spine, and then taking that on the other side. Taking the hips to the left as you let the knees fall to the right. Turning your gaze over the left fingertips. And again, relaxing your right shoulder, relaxing your right arm, relaxing your face and your belly. Just feeling the stillness of this moment, letting your breath flow naturally. And gently guiding your head back to center, followed by the knees and followed by the hips. As you feel ready, you can reach your legs up toward the ceiling and reach your arms up toward the ceiling. Just releasing, maybe shaking them for a moment, and then just letting them rest in their sockets. Letting hips be pinned down, letting the shoulders be pinned down by the weight of your limbs and gravity. Letting the digestive organs settle back into place in the back body. Letting the blood rush into the shoulders and the hips, away from the hands and feet. Letting any energy that doesn't serve you release away from the body through the hands and feet. You're welcome to stay here longer if you'd like, but if you're ready, you can come into your version of a happy baby, opening the hips toward the ceiling, grabbing the feet or the shins or the thighs. You can rock a few times side to side or just stay in some stillness. Whenever you feel ready, you can come into your reclined bound angle pose. The soles of the feet touching, outside edges of the feet on the mat, and knees dropping off to the sides. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. Stay here for your Shavasana if this feels really good for you. Or you can extend the legs into your final resting pose. Allowing the breath to slow, releasing any control over the breath. Releasing the full weight of your body to rest on the mat. Feeling all the muscles throughout your body surrender. Communicating to your body that it's time to rest. As you allow the healing benefits of this practice to soak in every cell of your body. Allowing yourself to rest here. If you would like to take a longer Shavasana, please do so. And if you're feeling ready to come out of this pose, just allow my cues to guide you. Just first noticing the slowness of your breath. It's not even there. And then consciously breathing again, calling air back into the body, filling yourself up with each inhale. Maybe rocking your head side to side, massaging the back of the skull. You finding some small movements in the fingers and toes. Really gently and calmly starting to wake yourself up. If you'd like to, you can take a nice morning stretch. Letting the body super long. And when you're ready, meeting in a fetal position on one side. Just leaving your eyes closed for now. When you feel ready, you can make your way up to your seat. And we'll just meet with hands at heart center to close our practice. Just fully and deeply, on every level, thanking yourself for your practice today. And may this practice give you positive, uplifting energy throughout the rest of your day and the rest of your weekend. May you bring some of this love and light into everything you do and to everyone that you see. Namaste.